Right, Alan, two of the most talked about poles of recent years in front of us. The new Daiwa Connoisseur G90 Pro and the Daiwa Airity Pro.
Yep.
Airity Pro came out last year. RRP 3799, was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, should I say selling price? That's what you're selling for in
price.
shop, isn't it? Yeah.
RRP's roughly, I think, over $4,000.
Oh, yeah, it might be $5,000 even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Selling price is 3799, and you get plenty of kits with it. New improved packages. You've got your new top kits as well. You've got the professional top kits on these, so they're all the same length and what have you.
And you've sold a few in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
Have you had any comeback? Any faults? Any problems?
None. Now, we've sold plenty of these and we've had no sections come back on these whatsoever. In fact, we call it the Nelly pole, because one of our customers called Nelly is the chief tester. Now, he's had every Daiwa pole under the sun, come from a G90 to an AZ Pro, and he's broke every section on every pole he's ever had. We're not saying he's hand-fisted or out like that, but he's not the gentlest with his poles. And when we got these poles in, he says, get me one of them new Airity Pro. So obviously we got him one. Week after, he walks through the door, and if you come into our shop, the door is about 20 yards away from the counter.
Yeah.
And he comes, and as he came through the door bust open, and his first initial words were, "That Airity Pro,
Yeah.
get me another." he says, that is the best pole I've ever used. He says, I cannot believe how strong it is. He says, I was using it for the first time this particular day, today, and he says, every section was a different handle. And he says, I was dragging them through reeds and everything, and Nelly fishes at Messingham all the time, basically. So, no, but joking aside, it is super, super strong. I didn't realise how strong these new Airities were, and I just thought, and to be truthful, I just thought this Airity was just the old Airity with a new badge on. It isn't, it's a completely new pole. The original Airity is more of an all-round pole. It's a little bit lighter than this, and maybe a tad stiffer, I don't know, but it's definitely a bit lighter than the new Airity Pro. So if you were still after a pole for fishing, a bit of commercial fishing, a bit of river fishing, a bit of canal fishing, probably the traditional Airity or the original Airity is a better pole. But this one is Daiwa's pole this year, specifically for commercials.
Yeah, like
and it is so strong, but it's dead light as well. Can you see down?
We can. We're going to go down and have a look down the Walk of Death in a minute.
That's 14.5 metres as we talk now, and you know, you can still go fishing on canals and that way, but if you're after a strong pole or a commercial pole especially,
that's the one. Right. What's the other one?
G90. How long have you've had G90s, haven't you?
I've got a G90. I've also got one of these now. That's how impressed I was when I saw it. But yes, I have. They're the workhorse of a pole. I use that for 90% of my fishing, the G90.
Yeah. Just
because I don't see the point in using an AZ Pro at 11 metres. You know what I mean? Why would you?
Because there's no difference at 11 metres, is there?
No.
We've talked about this in past. All the technology on poles is in what I call these coloured bits, the end sections, because when you put them up at 11, 13 metres from a G90 up to an AZ Pro, you can't tell any difference, can you? But once you start putting 13, 14 and 16 metre sections on, that's when you tell your difference. But if you're just after a general all-round Daiwa pole to do everything, you can't go wrong with a G90.
No, they're brilliant. And these are the best in that series yet by some margin. And we're going to have a little look at the Walk of Death in a minute.
And it's called G90 Pro because obviously they've upgraded the carbons on it, but also they've put the professional kits on it as well and that. So all your top kits now are the same length as we used to have the old traditional match top threes. It's basically just a number 1 now and a number 2 section, or in old money, a 1 and a 2 together and your number 3. So basically you've just got a top kit now of 2 sections. But still, if you're just after a pole, and as I say, you don't fish much over 13 metres, Just get a G90.
What's
If
the
you put
RRP on these, Alan, on the G90 Pro?
G90 Pros, these are 2199.
So that's a lot cheaper, isn't it? It's 1,700 quid, well, 1,600 quid cheaper than the Airity Pro.
Than the Airity. And it's probably three and a half grand cheaper than an AZ Pro.
Yeah.
But
UK made though, isn't it? It's the lowest or cheapest UK
made,
made.
Which obviously the Airity is as well. And the good thing with the G90, especially the G90 as well, is if you've already, well, like any of the Daiwa poles, as long as it's got the British flag on it, made in the UK on them.
Yeah.
I have to say UK because I always say England, and then off my Scottish friends I get some stick because they say they're not made in England, they're made in Scotland. Right. So I have to say the UK now. But any of the Daiwa poles what have got the UK flag on them, all sections interchange.
Yeah.
So it don't matter if it's like our original Daiwa tournament, what's 25, 30 years old now. Every section off every Daiwa pole that's got the British flag on them, all your sections interchange. River fishing, perfect.
Yeah.
Fishing in Ireland, perfect. Because as I said, most of the time you don't fish more than 13 metres, but at 13 metres, it's just a joy to fish with.
Right, we're going to do a little droop test. Just show us this droop test, because this was a nice little idea of yours. But we're going to get both these next to each other in a minute and do this.
Are we? Well, we can do it as well because Martin, who won't shop, he don't do a lot on Facebook, so he'll not see this, so I won't get a rollicking off him. But this is a little test what I do myself. When people say, oh, this pole's best and that pole's best. Stiffest. I always do this little test. And when you do this test, and if you've got the opportunity to do it, this doesn't lie. This sorts out which is the stiffer pole of the two, whichever you're comparing.
Show us this and what you do, and then I'll put the other end and have a look.
What we're going to do is, you have got to make sure you've got plenty of protection on your pole when you're doing it, because they're not designed to do this, but this is just something that I do. So all I do, Tom, is I get both poles, so they are now exactly the same length, aren't they?
Yeah, lined up.
Lined up at the bottom.
Yeah.
I just pull them along here on our walkway.
Yeah.
Probably halfway up the 13 metre section.
Yeah.
So I've got plenty of leverage on the poles.
Yeah.
I just lever them to the floor.
Yeah, so basically they're anchored to the floor in the same place.
Yeah.
The fulcrum, as we're going to call it, here is the same place. And now some lucky devil, me, has got to go and look at the other end. Walk down this walk of death.
Tom, walk of death. Do not fall.
Should be insured for this.
So this test cannot lie. And as we can see at 14.5 metres, the Airity Pro is definitely stiffer than the G90 Pro.
Right, I'm going to try and hold the phone dead level with it.
Can you see it?
That's just, here we go.
And it's dead weird.
I tell you what, there's not loads in it. There's probably about, at that top end, a droop difference, 2 to 3 inches, that's all.
Yeah. But in pole terms, that's massive.
And that's at 14.5 metres. Right, while I'm down here, because I'm not doing this twice, let me get down. Just give us a waggle of each of them at 14.5 and 16. Tell us which one you're doing first.
Right, at 14.5, I'm going to do the Airity.
So 14.5 metres, the Airity first. Let's have a little look at this.
Take my phone out of my pocket. At 14.5 metres, that's the Airity Pro.
Okay, 14.5. Airity Pro.
Can you see that?
Yeah, lovely.
Right.
That's great, that, to be fair.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, very stiff. And that's with a match kit as well. So.
Yeah. And then this is the G90.
And this is the G90. I'll tell you what, you can see a
Put
little
the
bit.
sets on.
Yeah.
While we're doing this test, if I were wanting to come and buy a pole up here now, and as I said, which I've said before, most of my fishing is canal fishing,
Yeah.
I would 100% buy the G90 opposed to an Airity.
So we buy the G90. Now you can see it's a bit softer, slightly softer, but
softer,
you'd expect that for
we've seen
1,600 quid
on that-
difference.
On that little clip what I've done, but it is definitely lighter.
Ah, it's lighter at that, okay.
It's lighter, even though the Airity is stiffer.
Yeah.
It's a heavier pole.
So yeah, Airity is stiffer, the G90 is lighter, or G90 Pro should say is
So
lighter.
if you do just basically want a pole for F1 fishing or silverfish fishing, I would definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, pick the G90 above the Airity. A, I've saved 1,700 quid.
Yeah.
And B, for my kind of fishing, this feels a better pole than the Airity.
Let's have a look at 16 now.
So, I'm going to do the G90 first at 16.
So this is the G90 first at 16 metres. And I think this is what you pay for.
Yeah. Now we can see how much that's softened that pole up, can't we?
It has, hasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, you can really see it, actually.
It's still lovely to fish with at 16 metres.
Yeah, it's great. And I've done it myself at that length and it is stunning. Beautiful.
And now we're going to do the Airity.
And this is the Airity Pro at 16. Yeah, you can see it's slightly stiffer, can't you?
Yeah.
There's not loads in it though, Alan, is there?
Now, do you want to quickly, while we're at that end, do you want me to do the Droop test
Go on then.
at 16?
Let's do it at 16. Go on then. This is a Droop test at 16 then.
And then while you're at that end, Tom, we'll do the Droop test at 13 metres.
Yeah.
Because then you can see why you are actually, that is the best one to do the test with, I think, because if you're umming and ahhing and thinking, well, I only do a bit of this fishing, but I don't do much 16 metres, this will tell you how much difference there is at 13 metres between them all then.
Love it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, let's have a look at 16 then for the Droop test.
It makes your mind up so much easier.
Oh, this is 16.
Right, we're together again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to come halfway down me. Well, I'm going to do it halfway down my 14 metre section this time.
Yeah. And to the floor then. Let's have a look. What we got this time, I'm guessing the Airity Pro's on the right, because the stiffer pole's on your left, my right.
Yes. On my left, I've got the G90.
Yeah.
And on my right, I've got the G90.
Yeah.
And on my left, I've got the Airity Pro.
Yeah, that'll be right. So but there's not much in it at all.
It still don't go down much different, does it? Even at 16.
I think one to
But you can
2
see,
inch.
I can see from this end, Tom,
Yeah.
where it's starting to dip more on the like 10 metre section.
Got you.
I can see from this end, from a different angle.
No, you can see it. You can see it.
Where the Droop starts.
Let's have a look at 13 then now.
Great, let's do the 13 metre one.
Right, Bob.
Hello. Just in the middle doing some filming.
Oh, right.
So if you can just leave.
Yeah, no worries.
Alright. I'll see to you in 5-10 minutes, but we're just in the middle of doing some filming.
Right, no worries.
Now, if you don't fish more than 13 and 14 metres, Tom, so that one's 3.8
Yeah.
and that one's 2.2.
Yeah.
So if you, well,
It's a lot of difference, isn't it?
a
1,600
lot of
quid.
difference in money. So this is basically the staple length now of pole fishing.
Yeah.
We've gone from all that 14 and 16 metres, we're now back down to 13 and more sensible lengths.
Where you use it, yeah.
Yeah, so now we've got basically a 4 gram pole against a 2 gram pole.
So a 4 gram pole in round terms against a 2 gram pole. Here we go. Now look, this is going to be very interesting. I want to get back on top of this because
No difference, basically.
very similar. Like literally, get to the end of it, see if we can film it that way. Inch and a half, inch.
But you can't tell at this end.
No, I want to come back and just have a quick look down it
When
to
you hold
finish.
them at 14 and 16, that's when you can tell the difference. But at 13 metres, you cannot tell the difference in that 1 inch of droop. Honestly.
You know what's 1 inch of droop between friends, Alan? You know what I mean?
Nothing. Definitely nothing. Now, when you hold that at 13 metres,
Yeah, it's breathtaking, isn't it?
it's stunning, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
really is.
then, as I said, you pick the one up twice as much money. Yeah, it's slightly.
Very slightly at
But
13.
is it 1,800 quid difference?
Well, there's
That's
the
how
question.
I look at it.
Yeah.
That, if you only fish 11, 13, occasionally 14 metres, is there actually 1,800 quid's worth of difference in the overall? If you're going to fish a lot more at 14 and 16 metres, 100% you'd have the Airity. But if you only fish 13 metres as general, that G90 is as good as any Daiwa pole on market.
Couldn't agree more, mate. Very, very interesting. So there we have it, folks. New G90 Pro versus the Airity Pro. Both brilliant poles
Yeah,
for
fantastic
different
poles.
different jobs.